What is up, Gaming Nation? This is JMU 76, and it is the postseason here in our JMU Dynasty. Look at that. Got a head coaching opportunity for Memphis. Obviously, we're going to turn it down because that is not realistic. We led our team 7-6. Very, very rough offense at the best of times. So yeah, we're not going to accept that. We're going to keep going here. And so as we are in the off season, first and foremost, have to take a quick look around here. A lot of firings throughout the league, as is pretty much normal. A couple of those big names. Ultimately, Butters there kicked out of Arizona State. If we were to keep playing this dynasty long term, we would definitely be in the running for that. That is our alma mater. That's where we would love to get back to. And look at that, White off to the NFL. Wish they would tell you what team he was going to. In terms for us, we are continuing to grow, getting a little bit better, improving those traits. We're definitely a motivator, so there's some good stuff there. And Jay Coleman, the head coach, he's continuing to move in the right direction, which is weird because they had a way better season last year than this year. But Coleman, look at that, 100% approval, 100%, 7-6, doesn't win any of the big games. Basically beat his rival once, and he's at 100% job security. And JMU, we're not doing particularly well. Some of our players, like Granger is a big one. He's looking like he's going to walk out. That is a tough one. Coach Prestige is way down as well. Again, that's a tough one. It's amazing that we have 100% job approval rating when we've got some absolutely miserable stats. But losing Kyle, that would be massive if that happens. Losing Granger, that would be massive if that happens. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Ultimately see where things go. And in terms of overall, the pro potential, not much there. It's interesting though, because it is on the way up, and you've got to think that in terms of Adai as our number one player on the team, you got to think he's going to be drafted off to the national championship. Look at that, Ohio State 48-38. They defeat Georgia for the national championship. What a game that was. And look at that, Carson Beck, 4,800 yards on the season, 53 TDs, only 7 interceptions. That is one hell of a season. Needless to say, that is why you get to the national championship game. Look at, in terms of that, Caleb Downs, pretty good game on defense. Dylan Bell, monster receiving game there. Can't believe that they actually lost it. Looking at that, though. And the real shocker there is Liberty. Yeah, they didn't go anywhere, but they got into the playoffs. They did lose to Notre Dame. That was a big one. And Miami didn't go very far there in terms of things. Riley Leonard walks away with the Heisman Trophy, beats out Cam Ward. Very surprising on that one. Beats out Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, Caden Salter. Wow, that's impressive. I did not think Riley Leonard would have had it in him, but he did. Now, looking at us here, we got some players who are possibly going to walk. Logan, that's a big one. We cannot afford to lose him. Key anchor there in terms of the defense. Bush, Callaway, Baldwin. So pretty good chance that we can pull on to a lot of those people and keep them on. Losing a die to graduation, that's going to be huge. That's going to hurt this team. There's just no way around it. He was an absolute superstar for the entire season. That's going to be a really, really difficult one to replace. And again, you can see a lot of players that we're losing there. Mid-tier types of players. Definitely will be a rebuilding year as they move forward with this team. And we didn't see a lot of these players because, again, we were only playing offense. But there was a lot of talent that's there. And again, looking at that overall, we're about a 75 overall. We've got some nice pieces that we've brought in terms of the recruiting, but it's going to be a tough call to see where we sort of land up when everything's done to start the next season. So with that, let's try to land some of these players, see what we can do. We definitely want to try to hold on to Logan. That's going to be the biggest priority. Bush, another big priority there. Let's see what we can do here. Can we persuade? Man, I wish that they would flesh this system out more. Okay, so we persuaded one player. And look at that, Logan. He low chance of staying. Can we persuade him? Yeah, we do. Again, there's no strategy to this system, which kind of drives me nuts. There's no points you're putting into it or anything like that. Can we get Callaway to stay? No, we don't get Callaway. That's a surprising one. He had a high probability. Can we get Baldwin? Got to think yes there. Yeah, we get Baldwin. So we're doing not too badly here. And last, certainly not least, can we keep Regan? High chance, and we do. So basically we keep 4 of the 5. That's awesome. And a die monster season that he had. He was actually drafted in the 6th round. I'm shocked by that. I honestly thought he would have gone way higher. 2nd, 3rd round. Best player of the season. Look at that. Almost every single game over 100 yards. Absolute beast out there. Shattering school records. So with that, got a lot of key players there, a lot of seniors who have grown up. They're going to be developed. Granger is definitely going to be a key player there on the team moving forward. And again, we've got some young talent that's coming in, but got some pretty decent training results. The quarterback is going to be a really interesting one. Do we run with Barnett the third? He was never the plan to be the starter. You know, we had basically drafted, or not drafted, pardon me, we had recruited for his replacement, bringing in someone that we really like. But I don't know. I mean, right now, Barnett may have the inside track to be the starter for next season and potentially the season after that. It's going to be a real competition to see how it all goes. Ultimately, the plan here would like to do one more episode wrap up before College Football 26 comes out, and maybe I'll just play the whole season, see where things land, and go from there and give a recap show. Ultimately, if people like it. But we got some nice talent there. We are definitely not a super strong team, but you can see there we've actually gone up to 79. So in terms of the preseason, look at that. Quinn Ewers, you got to think he's got to be a definite favorite right now going into the Heisman for next year. And our season starting it off with Navy, that's going to be a tough game. Then Louisville, Utah State, going to play some FCS North, get that out of the way. And then into the heart of the season, UL Monroe, Carolina, Old Dominion, Marshall, Georgia State, App State, Georgia Southern, and Troy, all winnable games there. I think we can do a lot here. It's going to be a tough one because the team has definitely improved a little bit, but the real question ultimately is going to be, can we deliver? That's going to be a tough one. Look at that going into the season. Georgia, number 1 overall. Ohio State, who won it all this year, they're down to 3rd. Again, not a lot of surprises in that top there, but I mean, look at Boston College at 12. Didn't necessarily see that one coming. North Texas at 22. Rutgers at 25. That's an interesting one. So we'll see ultimately what the season has in store. Anyways, short episode. Hope you liked it. See you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.